Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is literally going to flip how you interact with artificial intelligence upside down. If you've ever felt completely stuck in that endless loop of typing basic questions into a chatbot and getting generic, boring answers, you are in the exact right place. We're going to explore how you can transition from simply typing prompts to becoming a full-fledged AI builder, creating real, deployable applications using just plain, everyday English. And honestly, the best part, you don't even need to be a developer to pull it off. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with askers versus builders, then look at gearing up with models and modes. After that, we'll hit the 5 superpowers, build a web app, tackle data, and pitch decks. And finally, wrap it all up with the Opus 4.8 bonus. All right, Section 1, askers versus builders, the two kinds of AI users. Listen to this quote because it perfectly sets the stage. There are two kinds of people using AI right now. People who type a question into an AI chatbot and get an answer, and people who tell Claude to build the whole thing for them and just watch it happen. Right? It really highlights this genie in a bottle promise. You literally just use plain English, tell the AI what you want, and boom, it builds it for you. No technical wizardry required. You just have to know how to give the right instructions. Think about the chatbot asker. They're stuck in this manual ask and answer loop. It's isolated, it's super limited, but then contrast that with the Claude Code builder. We're talking about the top 1% of users here. They're issuing plain English commands to generate entire apps and automate these crazy complex workflows. They actually walk away with real deployable projects and absolute proof that they can build. Moving right along to Section 2, gearing up with models and modes. To wrap your head around the different AI models, just think of a car. Haiku is your casual city stroll, perfect for skimming a document or doing light, everyday stuff. Sonnet is more like your standard city driving, great when you need some layered thinking and logic. But Opus, specifically Opus 4.7, that is your steep mountain hike. It's the heavy artillery. You use it for deep, complex, multi-step thinking. Sure, it takes a bit longer and eats up more resources, but it totally handles the heavy lifting when you're actually building an application. Now, alongside those models, you've got 5 permission modes. These basically dictate how much control you have versus the AI. It ranges from ask mode, where the AI literally stops at every single step to ask for your permission, all the way down to bypass permissions, where it just runs completely wild and uninterrupted. So here's the absolute crucial takeaway. Plan mode is your safest starting point. It's exactly like agreeing on a route on a map before you even pull out of the driveway. You ask the AI to create a plan first, and you only let it touch your files once you've given it the green light. Trust me, it completely stops the AI from building the wrong thing. Okay, Section 3, the 5 AI superpowers. Let's use a kitchen analogy to make sense of how these technical concepts actually work together. A hook is basically an automatic rule that just runs in the background, kind of like a chef automatically tasting the food after adding an ingredient. A skill is your complete reusable step-by-step recipe. An agent? Well, that's the chef actually cooking that recipe. A command is a quick, reusable prompt, almost like shouting an instruction across a busy kitchen. And finally, an MCP, or Model Context Protocol, is your pan or your wok. It's the external tool the AI uses to reach out and actually do things in other systems, like searching the live web or deploying code. Let's jump into Section 4, building a web app. So, by throwing just a single, well-structured, plain English prompt into Claude Code, it automatically built an entire app foundation. Imagine that, not writing a single line of code yourself, yet setting up a full pipeline board where you can drag and drop jobs, allowing for job entries via a URL, and even integrating open models. We actually fed it a specific design file, and it flawlessly adopted the clean, sleek visual identity of the linear task manager. Plus, it set up custom commands and hooks to auto-save the progress. It's just incredible. And look at how tailored the output gets. Inside this app we just built, you can upload your resume as a PDF, paste in a job description, in this example, an Apple AI operations lead role, and just hit generate. Instantly, the app spits out a perfectly customized cover letter, tailored resume bullets, likely interview questions, and a whole company brief. It can generate a tailored opening line like, I'm writing to express my strong interest in the AI operations lead role as a founder of a tech platform that has served over 1 million learners. That is the actual opening line it generated for that specific Apple role. It perfectly blended the real user's background with the exact requirements of the job. But hey, a quick warning. As you start tackling bigger, more ambitious projects, you absolutely have to watch out for a major trap called context rot. This happens when the AI's token context window, which is basically its short-term memory, fills up past 50% capacity. Once it hits that tipping point, the AI just degrades. It gets super sloppy and it literally starts forgetting instructions you gave it earlier. To protect your build, you have to regularly use a command called /compact. This condenses the conversation history and frees up memory space. If you want your AI staying sharp during a long build, doing this is totally non-negotiable. All right, section 5, data analysis and pitch decks. Next, we threw a really complex food retail marketing dataset from Kaggle at Claude Code. By just telling it to act like a McKinsey analyst, it immediately figured out we needed to run a segmentation and concentration analysis. And this is where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. It didn't just passively read the data. It actually connected an MCP called context7 to pull the absolute latest Python documentation straight into its brain. Then, Claude wrote its own completely clean Python code, analyzed the data, spit out graphs, and formatted the whole thing into a pristine 2-page executive report that you could hand straight to a chief marketing officer. Then, we decided to push it further and asked it to build a $2 million seed pitch deck for a fake software startup called Lacuna. We connected the parallel search MCP, meaning Claude could actually go out and grab real-time, live market data from the web. It researched B2B SaaS competitor benchmarks, mapped out the pain points, and even leaned into a problem agitate solution storytelling framework. It literally wrote, assembled, and designed an entire 8-slide PowerPoint presentation, packed with real numbers and a killer narrative, all from one single prompt. I mean, think about it. How many hours of grinding research and formatting would that save you? Finally, section 6. The Opus 4.8 bonus. Think about the number 18 for a second. The new Opus 4.8 model brings something to the table called dynamic workflows. So instead of just chatting with one AI agent, Claude can now spin up an entire team of sub-agents and put them all to work at the exact same time. In one example, during a YouTube channel audit, it dynamically spun up 18 parallel sub-agents. It chewed through 1.1 million tokens in a single go just to instantly analyze a massive mountain of data. This dynamic workflow is just next level. During that YouTube channel audit, the AI actually tried and failed to get the right data on its first shot. But, and here's the crazy part, it caught its own mistake. It wrote a custom Python script to fetch the real numbers and just started over. It audited channel data across comments and search, brainstormed fresh content angles, scored those ideas against actual market demand, and then pumped out a complete content strategy. Complete with script hooks and thumbnail briefs, it essentially did the job of a full-blown research team from start to finish, completely unsupervised. Which brings us to this really beautifully summarized final thought. The hardest part of building software, analyzing data, or doing complex research, it's no longer the manual building part. The tools are here, and they will absolutely do the heavy lifting for you. The real bottleneck now is just your own imagination and strategy. It's deciding what to build. Seriously, imagine what you could create with these superpowers at your fingertips. What are you going to build? Keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.